Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Connection with Intention. First of all, as you can see, we are outside. It just felt like an absolutely amazing and incredible time to be outside. It is kind of windy here right now. So if you are watching live and you're able to comment, let me know. Are you able to hear me clearly? My fingers are across. The microphone isn't picking up too much of the wind sound. And Teresa, hello. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining me. So there are a couple of things that I was wanting to talk about today. And my expectation coming into tonight's show was that we were going to talk about one thing. But then life happened about 45 minutes before I came on live. I'm like, I can't talk about that. I have to talk about this. There were things that were coming up in my world. There was tension, there was frustration, there was a lot of emotion, there was a lot of anger, there were a lot of tears on my part. And I'm like, in 45 minutes, I am going to be live on my show and I can't do this right now. So today feels like it's an honoring, and an honoring of where we are. And we're coming into the energy of the full moon. It's the full moon tomorrow. And during the full moon and the new moon, the days leading up to and the days shortly after, I find that sensitivity rises. Certainly for myself, I don't sleep as well. I'm always just a little bit on edge. I'm hyper aware of energy and emotion that I'm experiencing, that other people are feeling and experiencing as well. It can become really easy to become ungrounded during these times. And I realized about 45 minutes ago that was exactly where I was. And in our show this evening, it's always about holding space for you guys. That's always my intention. Two of the things that I absolutely love about being in nature is the energy of the water, of the tide, particularly when it's high and when it's coming in. And at just a couple of minutes ago, I checked to see where the tide was behind me. And it was at that moment that it was changing from high, or from coming in rather, to going out. And that felt really significant. The other aspect was the wind. I absolutely love the wind. The stronger, the better. Though, I mean, obviously, as long as people are well and safe, I'm not keen on really damaging winds. But I find that those two elements, the water, the movement, the power of them, really helps to balance and to ground me. And in the moments as I prepared for our live session today, what I really felt and experienced was a lot of emotion coming up to the surface. And I was feeling helpless in it. It was like, I have all of these things to do. The timing isn't good for this. I feel really awful. But I want to connect with my people and I want to be here. And so I asked, what is it that I need to do? And I was told I needed to go and sit outside. So we're outside. And I felt this power coming up in through my belly, in my sacral chakra, which is the second chakra. It's the orange one. It is a couple of inches below your belly button. And it is a power chakra. It is all about creativity. And the word that I kept hearing over and over and over again was transform and transformation. And it became really clear just how important it is to recognize the power that you hold and that you have in even the situations where you feel the most vulnerable, or when you're feeling most out of balance and out of sorts, that there are things that you can do to come into that place and to start creating and shaping. Emotion to me is a really powerful street sign. It points you in a direction. It says, hey, pay attention to this. There's something that's going on. There's something that you need to be aware of. Take a look. Hello. And so, I would never suggest completely ignoring an emotion, but it is okay to say, hey, I don't have the time, the energy, and the space to deal with this properly and appropriately. And there are other things that are priorities to me at this moment. But in time, I will come back to this and I will unpack it and I will look at it. But just the power of what we are able to create and what we are able to do is really amazing. So just a little message for you guys about that. And I'm grateful that you've shared that journey with me. I just want to pop on and say hello to everybody who's joined us this evening. So hello to Teresa and Catherine. Yes, it is an absolutely gorgeous day. And thank you, Teresa. I think that you're responding to my request about the wind. I appreciate it. Hello to Carmen and Michelle and Arlene. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you all so much for joining me. So I do want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to receive a reading this evening. And that's one of the reasons that I do the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading. So if you do have a question or questions or areas in your life that you're needing a little more guidance on, or some information or some insight, now is your time. I'm not going to take questions just yet in the comments for readings. I'll open that up in a minute. But bear with me and please join me. I will bring forth the crystals that we have. I realize that the crystals, the pictures don't always come out that well. So I've got them here as well. The first one that we have, it's blue. Oh, I wish my lighting was a little better. Sorry, guys. It's blue. This is angelite. And this is actually a rough piece of angelite. Usually angelite is predominantly a light blue color when it's polished. So the first option is angelite. The next one, I am only 99% positive that it is Amazonite. It was actually given to me, and the person who sold it to my friend told her that it was Larimar, and I'm like, no, that's definitely not Larimar. I'm pretty sure it's Amazonite. So that's what we're going with. We've got Amazonite in the middle. And the next crystal that we have, again, my lighting is poor. My apologies. We have malachite. So take a moment, breathe, calm, center yourself. And just with the energy that has been a little more intense recently, allow yourself a bit of space. So clear off the table and bring forth any questions that you may have that you're wondering about. And as you breathe and think about each of these questions individually, ask which of these crystals represents the question that I am asking. And as you do that, I'm going to shuffle and choose the cards. Just continue to breathe. You can call in your angels or guides or God or source or ascended masters, whoever you like to work with. You can ask them for help and support in guiding you to the correct crystal for the message for you for the evening. And just ask. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't have any questions that I want to ask Erin, what do I need to know is always a great question. If I don't know, or as I'm preparing for a reading, I'll just ask, what does this person need to know? Or what do I need to know? What messages are there for me? What do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to be aware of? All right. So I didn't bring out any extra crystals, so we're just going to hope that these don't blow away on us. And I'll just quickly pop on and say hello to everybody else who has joined us. Hello to Corrine and Kate and Carrie. It's wonderful to see all of you. And other Carrie, hello. Thanks for joining us. Amazing. So I will do the readings. Pardon me. I will do the readings for the cards. If you guys have a question that you would like to ask, now is the time. If you want me to use a particular deck with the questions that you're asking, please mention. We have the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. The blue deck is the Mermaids and Dolphins, and the green deck is the Messages from Your Angels. All right, so I'm just going to pull this guy down. So the first card that we have, this is for the Angelite. We chose the Archangel Oracle card deck, and the message that we have here is gifts from God. This is Archangel Sandalphon, and his message is, we angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. And when this card comes up, it says that everything that you have been working on, that you have been working towards, it is finally coming together. If you have been praying for or asking for help in some area in your life, this is your sign that Your prayers have been heard and they're being answered. So keep your eyes out, keep your heart open. One of the things that often comes up with this card as well is that it's important to be open to receiving in a way other than what you perhaps expect or how you've asked for. So, for example, money and financial abundance always comes up for me as an example. So let's say that you need money for something, and you're expecting it to come in a raise or in somebody giving you some money or X, Y, or Z, whatever it is. But instead of coming in through one of those channels, maybe instead you get a really big discount on a bill that you thought needed to be paid, or some other way that money can come into our lives. So it can be really important when we're praying, when we're asking for help, we just give over and just say, hey, this is what is in my heart, this is what I'm asking for help with, and not specify a specific way for that to come together, because our ability to see the situation that we're in is really limited. It's limited by our thoughts, our ideas, and by our knowledge and awareness. But God, source, universe, creator, it is infinite. It knows everything. And something that we aren't even aware of being a possibility could be the answer. But if we're so hyper focused on our prayers or our requests for help being answered in a specific way, we can completely miss that thing that has been given to us to help us and support us. So be open. And if you are praying and asking for help, call on Archangel Sandalphon. He is the angel who lifts our prayers up to God, source, and universe. And he helps to make sure that they're heard. So the next card that we have is for the Amazonite. This was the purple, the green heart in the middle. And we have the Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle card deck. The message that we have here is empowerment. You're more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be powerful. You guys, I just have to tell you, I'm resonating with all of these cards coming up tonight. And it feels to me like this card also really speaks to the messages that we had at the beginning of the show, that you have within you the power, the ability, the emotion to be able to create the life that you want to. I hesitate to use the word manipulate, but that's the word that's coming up, to manipulate and to shift and to bring forth. Manipulate as a word, it has really, really negative connotations. But you can manipulate your hair by maneuvering it, and that's not a bad thing. There are a lot of things that you can do to shift, to change, to awaken. The empowerment card is all about connecting with yourself, with that innate ability that you have to fully and completely be you. And so part of what I'm feeling is that this is a dropping away, a peeling off of the things that are challenging, that are difficult, that are no longer serving us and no longer supporting us. We are coming into the energy of the full moon. In fact, we are in the energy of the full moon. It's not until tomorrow, but we're in that energy of it. Now is a great time to be releasing the things that no longer serve you, and to offer forgiveness to yourself and to anybody else who may have been involved directly or indirectly with the things that you're releasing. Let them move on and move forward too, in whatever way that manifests. So take time to take a look at what is coming up for you. And our last card is for the Malachite people. And this is from our messages from the Angels Oracle card deck. And the card here that we have is Rochelle. And her message is, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. And this card really felt to me like there was a lot of transformation that was coming up with it. That's a word, as I said, that's been ringing in my head for the last half hour. And the malachite crystal was really pulling at me. That was why it came out. And then the message with listening to your heart and following that's where prosperity is coming from. So often when we are working towards prosperity and abundance, and although prosperity and abundance can be about material and financial wealth, I also see this as being abundance in love and health and healing and friends and family and partnership and all of the positive things. So to invite prosperity into our lives, following our heart and not allowing that to be blocked by fear. So often we pigeonhole ourselves into an idea of either things are going to come at a certain point once I move, or once I have money, or once I travel, or once I finish school. And there are all of these stipulations that we place upon ourselves that we can't find or experience that happiness, that prosperity, that abundance in our lives until something happens. And sometimes the things that we expect to happen before that can come in, it builds like a wall around what we're wanting to feel and to experience. So allow this also to be a card that encourages you to take down the walls around the things that you are wanting to manifest, to create, to experience in your life. Listen to your heart. What is your heart saying? And follow that. It's got a lot of really good information, and it has your best and highest good at heart too. Awesome. So those were our crystals for the evening. Let's take a look and see what we have. Oh, so one thing I quickly wanted to mention, and then I'm going to get to your to your questions. Last week we had a reading spammer on. I didn't. This was on me. I didn't close the commenting off right away as I usually do. And this person came in and they commented and they spammed about half a dozen or a dozen people soliciting readings and offering readings to them. And I try to shut that down pretty quickly. But what really got me was that this person used the profiles of the people who had commented on my show to then put their solicitations on their Facebook pages. And I saw this in a friend who had commented, had asked a question, or had made a comment in the show. This person had clicked on her profile, went on to one of her public posts, and then solicited her for a reading. And for me, that feels really unsafe. It feels really freaking icky. And I felt terrible that it was happening. So we're going to try it again this week. I'm going to close the comments down after. But if you feel that you would like to remove any questions or comments that you place on the live feed, I would encourage you to do so in order to prevent yourself from being solicited after the show. It really feels like targeting, and it feels really icky. If we do have more experiences of that after the live shows, I'm going to go through and delete all of the comments. I hate to do it. It feels really awful to me to do that, but it's at this point, it's the only way that I can see to keep you guys safe. It's, to me, that's really crossing a lot of boundaries. Coming on and spamming is a really gross thing to do to begin with, but then to go to people's personal pages, that just takes another step forward. So please, as I said, feel free at the end of the live to remove your comments if you'd like. You're more than welcome to do that. And if we have people continuing to solicit people on their private pages, I will start deleting all of the comments just to keep everybody safe. So if your comment disappears, that may be what has happened. And I am sorry, but I am grateful that you're here. I'm going to keep you safe. All right. So, oh, awesome. Carrie's saying 100% it is Amazonite. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. Oh, yes. And Carrie's also said beauty earrings. I love them. These ones are Karma Chakra Intuitive Special. So thank you, Carrie. All right. So the first person that we have here, we've got Arlene. Hi, Arlene. Thanks for joining us. Arlene's wondering, should we put in a basement suite? And she chose the Angelite crystal. When I ask about a basement suite, I'm hearing yes, but I have a bit of hesitation that's coming up. It feels to me like this is actually, the hesitation feels like it's coming up around how the suite is going to be designed and how it's going to be offered. I'm wanting to encourage you to take a look at a couple of different options in terms of how it can be structured and organized, because it feels to me like there's one way in which you would end up having one room, but I'm seeing actually creating a second room there as well. It feels like that gives you, I don't know if it's like the additional rent or if it ends up being a better flow or something. But I'm really wanting to encourage you, if you do decide to go forward with it, to take a look at finding a way to have two separate bedroom or room spaces. The other thing that's popping up for me has to do with parking. So I don't know if that's a concern or an issue with where you are, but it feels like those are the two big things that I have coming up. It does feel like it is a positive thing to do moving forward, and it feels like you may even have somebody who is already waiting for it. So this would either be a family member or a close friend or a relative of a close friend, something kind of along those lines. I'm feeling that there is somebody who is already waiting for that space. So Arlene, it feels like you're on the right track with that. And I'm also wanting to encourage you to make sure that you get help with it too. So again, whether this is from a design perspective or from like a completion, like a construction perspective, it does feel like there's somebody else who's going to be helping and supporting you with that. And since you chose the Angelite card, we're just going to ask the Archangel Oracle card deck what you need to know about putting in a basement suite. Okay, let me see. So the card that we have coming up here for you is the Courage card. And this is Archangel Ariel. And her message is be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. And so as soon as this card came up, it feels like there might be a bit of opposition that you are facing. So the opposition feels like initially it may be coming from somebody in your home. So possibly somebody else who is making the decision with you. And I'm seeing that there is something that you're needing to stand up for, that you're feeling really strongly about, either something that is going to be in the suite or isn't going to be in the suite, possibly access to something. It feels like you're going to really need to stand your ground with that. And then the other aspect feels like it might have to do with zoning. But that actually feels like that's going to be the least of your challenges and difficulties. All that said, if you do run into any hurdles, whether it's in the decision-making process with anybody else who would be involved with that in your home about deciding whether or not to go forward or how you want to do it, call on Archangel Ariel, ask her for help and support. Archangel Ariel, she really has this energy like she is your best girlfriend and she will always have your back. Doesn't matter what kind of situation you find yourself in, she will help you. She's the one who has the shovel who helps you to bury the body. Like Archangel Ariel really is there to help and support you. So whether, as I said, it's somebody in your own home that you are making this decision with, or if this is from like a zoning perspective, call on her, ask her for help and support. But it does feel like it's a really great idea. And there is some aspect of it that actually ends up giving you freedom and flexibility that feels awesome. Arlene, it was such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Leanne, hello. It's great to see you. And Brianne, we've got Leanne and Brianne. Hello. It's wonderful to connect with you this evening. We've got Carrie. Carrie saying we are K2. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but yes, you are K2. Teresa chose Angelite and Leanne chose Malachite. Awesome. That's fabulous. Okay, we've got Victoria here. Hi, Victoria. Thanks for joining us. Victoria's asking, I would love to know if my financial situation is going to improve soon. Let's take a look. So, yes. But the way that it's being represented to me is as fancy footwork. So it's kind of like a dance, and it's got a lot of steps. And it's kind of one that if you were semi clumsy like myself, possibly with two left feet, that you might kind of stumble over it. But I'm seeing you being a much more agile dancer than I am. And so what looks very complicated and complex to me, I'm seeing you doing, and it feels very simple, straightforward, and easy. It feels like you're already in the middle of this dance. And so I'm not sure if this has to do with already in some form of negotiation or in some form of like budgeting, because one of the ways that we can improve our financial situation is not only in bringing additional resources in, but looking at how we're spending our resources. So budgeting can also be part of it. And what I'm hearing is that it's kind of a little bit of both. And I'm really wanting to encourage you to play with it and have some fun with it too. when I ask about finances for you, it feels really stressful because it feels like this is something that you've either worried about or focused on, or you've been trying to figure out for quite a while. And it's created a certain amount of like stress and anxiety. And I know that you are not alone in that is something that many people do experience stress and anxiety about. But what I'm seeing you doing is it feels like you're stepping back and you're coming into a place of joy with your finances. So when it comes time to pay bills or to spend money, like maybe you're going grocery shopping or something, sometimes we approach it with a feeling of dread, like, oh my gosh, the bank account is only this and I need to take this much out. And what am I going to do? Instead, flip it around. Oh my goodness, look at this. I have so much money in my bank account. And not only am I going to be able to support myself to get the things that I need in terms of like rent and groceries and all the things that I need to continue living my life, but then I even have money left over. And so coming into a place of joy and experiencing the love that is there when somebody gives you money, whether it's a paycheck or a gift of some sort, allow yourself to take a moment to just breathe it in and to experience that expanding as love through your body. In terms of the specific question that you've asked, is your financial situation going to improve soon? Yes, it is, in part because of the things that you're already doing, and because there's something that is coming in that's really helping to bolster and support you. And part of the way that I'm seeing that is it feels like finances are kind of like a little bit bumpy, but they're here. But I'm seeing something that kind of boings it up here, and then we're comfy up here. It reminds me of having a flotation device and pulling it under the water and letting it go, and then it just boings up. That's how your finances are showing. Like, that's how I'm seeing them. As we move into the later part of August, it feels like you've got a really big boing that comes up. And in fact, I would encourage you to invite that sense of play into how you see your finances. So just see it like boing, or have some sound effects with it, or some movement that goes with it, or yeah, something that's kind of fun and funny. How do you see your finances? I see them boing. It's a really great way to invite some play and some joy into money and finances. All right, so Victoria, we're going to the Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle card deck, and we're just going to ask, what do you need to know about your finances improving? Perhaps is there anything that you can focus on to help with that? Ooh, I love this. Okay, so this is actually a really exciting card. This is the Make-A-Wish card. I don't know if you can see it that well. My lighting's really poor. I'm sorry, guys. This is a magical moment. Make a wish and enjoy its manifestation. And I have lots of favorite cards in this deck, and this is one of them. And I hope you can see this. When we look at the card this way, we have a unicorn here, we have a mermaid, and she's reached her finger out and she's touching the corn of the unicorn's horn. But if we turn it upside down, like this, actually what we see that this is a girl. She has legs. She doesn't have the tail. And this is a horse. It's not a unicorn. And she's just reaching her finger out. And so what this is two sides of the same coin. It is exactly the same picture and image, but they're just slightly different. It's two sides, and that's really magical. Understanding and recognizing that where we are right now is the flip side of where we want to be. Like it's that simple, that easy. So know that there is a lot of magic and manifestation that is possible in your life, particularly around your finances. So if you are experiencing stress, take a step back from it. Find the joy, find the play, and see it as being a really fun game that you just keep winning over and over again. Victoria, I'm so glad that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of abundant manifestation energy too. All right, we've got Catherine here. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. Catherine's asking, should I sell my house this summer? And where should I live in September? You know what? The timing actually feels really good for that. I am seeing a pretty significant change that's coming up for you in a relatively short amount of time. If you do decide to sell your home, it feels to me like it sells fairly quickly. So there is something about your home that feels like it's really appealing. And I'm not sure if it has to do with a unique aspect to your home or to the property, but there's something that is really drawing buyers in. I know in Canada, we're starting to see kind of a little bit of a slowdown, but it does feel like this is a really positive time to take a look at selling. I'm hearing 6 weeks, and it feels to me like that's kind of the timeline, the time frame from now until you've got like a really solid sell and you're able to say, hey, like we're ready. When I ask about where you're moving, I'm kind of wondering if you're, I was going to say heading into the interior, because I've got a lot of dryness that's popping up, but I'm also feeling the need to be further away, but also closer to. So further away from a lot of people, but also closer to community. And so it feels like part of what's coming up for you is this sense of gravitating towards more like-minded people, really wanting to connect with people who are living their lives in a way that feels really opening and supportive and encouraging to you. And I've got family coming up as being a bit of a consideration. I don't know if this is other family members who live with you, or if this is either wanting to be close to family or potentially being open to being further away from family. But family is coming up as being a consideration. I've also got a pull up north, and this actually feels like this is keeping you on the island. I believe, Catherine, that you are in the Comox Valley like me, and I am being pulled a little farther up north. Again, a sense of less but more community is really coming to the forefront. But neither of these is really concrete. The only aspect that is concrete is this feeling of community and being with like-minded individuals. And so that says to me that either of these could really work out, but there could be another option that works out equally well. And although it's not really straightforward and clear, I do really appreciate when this message comes up, because it's basically saying you've got your choice. Where is it that you want to be? We will support you wherever you want to go. And that feels really opening. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what does Catherine need to know about moving this September? The card that we have for you is the contemplation time card. And the message is spend time alone meditating upon what you truly desire. When this card comes up, it's basically talking about becoming clear with yourself. What is it that is most important for me right now? What am I wanting to put my energy and my resources, so time and money and finances and thought, what are the most important things for me right now? And as that becomes clear, the location becomes really clear too. Sometimes our decision-making process is a little more foggy and a little more challenging because we aren't really clear about what it is that we want. And so it could be, maybe you're wanting land and property, and maybe you're wanting a house that will allow you to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe you're also wanting to be close to people that you love, or to have a really active nightlife, or, there are lots of different things. As soon as you become clear on the things that are important to you, in terms of what it is that you're wanting and needing in your space or around your space, then the location will become much more clear as well. But at this point, it doesn't feel like there's a wrong answer. And that's kind of exciting. Catherine, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And we're going to ask the angels and the fairies to come and help you with the selling and the moving and the deciding process. Awesome. And okay, Karine, I hope that you got the message that you were looking for. I can't remember the card that came up with the yellow deck. I think that it was basically a prioritizing message. Okay, let's see. And we've got Patricia here. Hi, Patricia. Patricia, thanks for joining us. Patricia says, our fur baby crossed over last Wednesday and heartbroken. I am so sorry, Patricia. That is really hard. I'm thinking of you guys. It's, our fur babies are definitely such a significant part of our lives. Let me see. Not sure if you do animal communication, but if but if there is a message in any way, it's welcomed. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for you. So as soon as I tap in, I've got like a bum, like a tail wag and a bum wag, and I've got lots of excitement. I'm not sure if your fur baby who crossed is a puppy, but I've got a lot of puppy like energy that's coming up. I've got a lot of excitement, and I feel like I'm just bouncing. Like I can hardly wait to see you. I'm so excited that you're here. Yes. And literally I'm bouncing in my seat. Uh so what I am getting is that your little fur baby, first of all, has definitely crossed over, is very happy and content on the other side, though is missing you as well. The little fur baby showing me kind of looking down, and oh yeah, there they are, and the tail wag and the excitement. There's a lot of excitement that's coming up. There's a lot of love. I've got some really quiet times too. I know that I said like really strong puppy energy, and I do still see a dog, but I'm kind of getting like that lean in like a cat as well. Like I'm just wanting to be close to you, and I'm feeling a lot coming up around my heart as well. to just know that I'm okay, and that I'm with you, making sure that you're okay, because it feels like this has left a pretty significant hole in the lives of many, and so I've got a lot of like heart energy that's coming up, and I'm just kind of wanting to like just tuck in. So this is feeling like a smaller. I'm positive this is a dog. I'm positive this isn't a cat, but it's small, and just kind of like just tucking and snuggling in, and oh, I'm so happy. There is a lot of love. There is a lot of love, and just to know that they are okay, that it is okay, that they're okay, that they love you. I'm just going to ask. We've got the messages from your angels, and certainly your little fur baby is definitely an angel. So let's ask what your fur baby wants you to know. So the card that we have here is Astara, and her message is you deserve the best. Reach for the stars with your dreams and desires, and don't compromise. I've pulled out two cards from this deck, and both of them were flashing in at me as I was shuffling the deck. One is actually a pets and animal card. It's pink. I believe it's the Yvonne card, and it's just that you have a gift for working with animals and pet loved ones, and also the mediumship card I've pulled out of this deck as well. Both of those cards were flashing in for me. So in addition to reaching for the stars, also to know that animal communication might be part of what you do, perhaps just on a personal level. But I'm seeing this being a bit of an opening as well. Patricia, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and compassion to you, to your family, to all who are missing your little fur baby, and just to know that they are healthy and well. Awesome. Okay, Carmen, if you want to ask a specific question, I would so love to connect with you. The open-ended questions like what do I need to know, I don't work with. If you want to ask about a specific area in your life and about what you need to know to move forward with it, please comment below. I would love to connect with you. All right. Next question we have here is we have Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Thanks for joining us. Shannon says, I'm in the hospital. Oh my gosh. After trying again to take my life because of doctors messing up my meds. I am so sorry to hear that. That is so incredibly frustrating. I'm really glad that you are in a hopefully safe place right now. Shannon says, my sister just died too. I've been through a lot. The meds mix up was bad. Absolutely. I could use some guidance to know that my guides are watching and help me get through this. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's take a look, Shannon, and see what we have. So actually, I don't do mediumship on the show. It's not my forte, but I do have your sister coming through and sitting next to you. It feels like she's passed really quickly, and so she is kind of piggybacking on another loved one's energy on the other side. in order to come and to sit and to be with you. So first of all, know that she is around, that she is with you, that she loves you. And I'm feeling her coming up on your right side. Like that's where I see her, where I feel her. And she keeps pointing things out to me. So I don't know if while she was here, there were things that she said, hey, you know, you need to change that or take a look at that. But she keeps pointing things out at me. I'm not 100% sure that they're necessarily things that you wanted to hear, but that's her message. One of the things that's really important to know is that our loved ones, even once they've crossed over, even once they've received new levels of enlightenment and understanding, they still maintain a lot of their ego. So, for example, if you wouldn't have spoken with your grandmother about your sex life while she was here, don't go to her now that she's on the other side asking questions about your sex life, because it's going to be the same as if she was here. So I only mention that because, as I said, it feels like she's pointing out things that you probably brushed off when she was here, but she is saying, take another look. In terms of so in terms of guides with you, you know, I've got a lot of angels coming up with you, and I find that the big guys always come in to help and support when we're needing to really be safe. And the way that they're showing themselves to me is they're showing me on each of the four corners of the bed that you're in, where they are watching over you, they are holding you, they're supporting you, and in the most loving way possible, they're holding and keeping you down from crossing over. So I see, you know, given that it feels like you are still wanting to be here, that the challenges that you were experiencing were in much part related to the mix up with the meds that you were on. I've been there myself. It is very difficult and challenging. And so them pushing you down is them keeping you here. It's not like suppressing you. It's like, no, like, hold on, we're helping to reintegrate you, which feels like that's happening on like a soul level, making sure that your soul is really firmly connected to your physical body, but also helping on a mental and emotional and physical level. I'm seeing a lot of realignment that feels like it's happening. Pardon me. And part of the way that imagery is coming through is when you have a flat sheet that you put on the bed and you kind of give it that snap, that's what it reminds me of. Is that so there's a lot of shifting and adjustment, and we're just getting things straight, getting things like as they need to be, to sit where they need to be sit, to be in alignment. So do know that you have a lot of helpers. In the corner down by your left foot, I've got Archangel Azrael coming up. Archangel Azrael helps us through grief and grieving, helps us to connect with our loved ones on the other side. So, you know, as you're going through the grieving process around the loss of your sister, know that he is with you. But also the trauma that you have been through over the last little while and coming to the point where you're at right now, Archangel Azrael is with you, helping and supporting you in dealing with that grief and that energy and that trauma as well. At the other foot of your bed on the right hand side, I've got Archangel Raphael. He's holding down the fort, and he's also working with healthcare professionals that are helping and supporting you. So I don't know if your healthcare professionals come in at the right foot of your bed, but that's kind of what he's showing me, is that he is helping to filter and to sort out, and he's also helping to smooth the process as much as he can. So know that he is with you. I am not super familiar with this archangel, but he's telling me his name. You've got Archangel Nathaniel, and he is at your left shoulder, or that upper left corner of your bed. Archangel Nathaniel is an angel who was, I don't want to say discovered, but who has come through Charles Virtue. And so I would encourage you to take a look. As I said, I don't know a lot about him, but he's telling me his name and that he is there with you. So he's at your left upper corner. And then we've got Michael in the right corner, and he's saying, hey, we're holding space. We're helping to clear the path, to clear the way. And it feels like part of what he's doing is helping to make sure that it is safe for you when you are released from the hospital to go home, to go back into life. And he's showing that he's helping to smooth the way and to clear the way there. So Archangel Raphael will also be part of that process too. But he's really working on smoothing and fixing and balancing on that physical, mental health level where you are right now. And Archangel Michael at the right upper corner, he's helping and supporting in making that shift back into day-to-day life in time. We're just going to ask what messages are coming up for you, Shannon, right now. We're going to the Archangel Oracle card deck because they are with you so strongly. Oh, I've got Mother Mary coming through too. Oh my gosh, sweetheart, you have so much help around you. We've got Mother Mary's there. You've got Jesus there. Who else do you have? I've got Kuan Yin coming up. We've got Buddha. I mean, you've got everybody. when you ask if you've got helpers, yeah, they sent out the whole darn crew. So know that you're okay. Oh my gosh. And then the card that we have here, this is Archangel Zadkiel. And his message is compassion. Soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. Compassion can be a really difficult one to find when you're in the position that you're in, particularly with the mistakes that were made that you had no control over, in terms of mix-ups with the medications and things. I mean, it can be really hard to find compassion for that when it's thrown you for a tailspin the way that it has, where it's put you in a place where you've got a lot of work to do from here. But ask for help in finding it. And Archangel Zadkiel is the angel who came up with that. All of the angels who came through to help and support you today are definitely there with you. And I love Maya Angelou's words. And I can never remember the full quote, but basically it's when we know better, we do better. And to me, that is one of the best invitations to compassion, because it recognizes that we're not perfect, that we make mistakes. In fact, our whole purpose of being here on earth is to make mistakes, is to learn, to grow. It's to have a physical life, a physical reality. And there is no perfection in that. And to me, it really helps to open compassion, because it says, you know what, I've not known what I know now to be able to make better choices in the past. But now that I know, I can make choices from this new knowledge, from this new experience. And again, from personal experience, I know that it's a challenging one to do, but I see this as being one of the most powerful, transformative experiences that a person can go through. And you have so much love and support around you as well. Shannon, I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening, that you are here, that you are asking these questions. I'm so incredibly grateful for all of the loved ones who have come through, with your sister coming through very immediately, with the angels and the guides coming up, letting you know that they're around you. I'm really glad that you hopped on tonight. Thank you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. There's not much more that I could send than what is already there, but what I have, I give to you. I'm sending, as I said, lots of love, and thank you for joining in. Okay, we've got Josie here. Hi, Josie. Whoops, it just moved on me. Oh my gosh, there we are. Josie says, hi, loves. Can I get a read on the work situation? Wondering if things will be settled in a good way. Okay. Pardon me. All right, Josie. I want to encourage you to come into a no-nonsense place, because it feels like that's part of what's needed. And I'm feeling like either it's not so much that there are boundaries that you're putting down, because it feels like there are things that you are seeing that aren't working properly, and that there is an advocating that's happening for change. And I'm seeing this being kind of a as I said, like a no nonsense thing. In order for this to work, it must be this way. That's it. It just has to be that way. And if you have the expectation that that creates the reality and the experience, then there can't be another option. Yeah, I keep getting this really, this really awesome and amazing, just like no nonsense, just no, it can't be any other way. That's just it. And I've got a bit of play that's coming with it too. I'm hearing, and Josie has spoken, so it must be. Yeah. So when I ask about the work situation, um, the sense that I have is that something might come back to you, and you're like, try that again. That wasn't quite right. Give it another try, then come back to me. So I'm seeing actually a fair amount of power on your part in this situation, and I hesitate to use the word power, um, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. So I want to encourage you to step into it. All aspects of how I've seen you acting in this is a sense of like maintaining yourself, maintaining humor, but at the same time saying there's a certain way that this needs to be done. What you have suggested is not it. So go back to the drawing board and try it again. And I'm just seeing you really standing your ground with it. It feels like once you do that, everything everything just comes out right. Um, there's also a feeling that's coming up that you are stepping into something that is significant with this. So there's almost a feeling that you might be on the periphery of what's happening, and that it might not be something that you have a direct impact on. So I'm seeing you sharing your no nonsenseness with the other person who is involved, because it feels like they're needing to stand up and to push back, and that you are acting as a bit of a mentor to do that. And I'm really excited to see that, because I see one benefit for you, because you're standing your ground, and it feels like it's really empowering, and that feels good. And you're showing somebody else how to do it as well, in a way that is confident, that's loving, but that's also no nonsense. And I do see it working out, in and being settled in a good way, but it feels like there is an initial adjustment that needs to happen first. We're going to go to the big guys for you, Josie, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Josie around the work situation. I just keep hearing stand your ground. Call on Archangel, of course. Call on Archangel Ariel, and it looks like we've got Raziel here as well. And the message is take back your power. And I have to kind of laugh, because that's basically the message that was coming up for you. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. So even before things start coming back, you can do this. So what I would say to you, Josie, is look at the situation with work. And anytime that it comes up, the feeling, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to be what we're wanting and hoping it to be. No, the only possible solution is X, Y, and Z. And possibly like there's a little bit of manipulation in there, but like basically it feels like you're pretty straightforward and aware of what it needs to be. It might be slightly different, but it's not completely different. And yeah, as you see that expectation, it can't be anything other than something that's good. It can't. It's just not possible. Then you bring that energy into it with that expectation, and it kind of starts to pull. It starts to pull and to wobble, and I feel like this is almost like a goo that's being manipulated. It's being shaped. It's being changed. I'm just seeing you standing your ground with it, Josie. So yes, the answer to your question is yes. It will work out in a good way, and part of that has to do with the influence that you have on the situation, both in terms of your attitude towards the situation, and the support that you're offering, and the confidence that you're offering to somebody else who is in the situation. Josie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We've got Leanne here. Hi, Leanne. Thanks for joining us. So, Leanne's pardon me. Leanne's question is, will I reconcile with my kids? Let's take a look at that one. So first of all, I've got a lot of heaviness that I'm feeling you feeling in your heart, and it's coming up in my stomach too. It feels like this is something that you have held and have felt in many ways for quite a while. Um, and part of what I'm seeing, first of all, I believe I'm seeing three. There might only be two, but the pathway to the first one, that one feels like it's pretty straightforward, um, and potentially it's a path that wasn't completely um, cut off, or it wasn't completely challenged, or it wasn't completely damaged. It does feel like there's like some bumps and some challenges with it, but it feels like there's still some communication there, and that feels like that's where the beginning happens. It's the one that is the easiest to repair, and it's also the one that starts to set the tone and to set the phase for to set the stage rather for the reconciliation with the others. And as I said, I feel like we've got two more, and it feels like this is more of where the challenges are. And I'm seeing somebody with their head in the sand, that they are absolutely refusing to see things in any other light. And it feels like that's the really big difficulty in the situation, is that there is somebody who is refusing to see anything other than the way that they are currently seeing it. It doesn't feel like that is you, but if that resonates with you, then see about opening up your perspective. But I suspect it feels like this is more with one of your children, and then the other one comes along as that one gets easier. So it feels like there is one who is kind of following along with the other. So as soon as the other one changes their perspective and things start to open, then the last one comes into play. So as I said, I'm seeing three, with two of them being the most challenged. And so focus first on the one where there has been the least amount of damage. And it may be that part of that healing comes from not talking about the other siblings, not talking about the other challenges, and focusing on the things that are working in that relationship, because that healing that happens there helps to open with the others. And the tricky one is the one who brings everybody in and brings everything together. I'm not seeing a timeline on this, mostly because free will is at play. And the free will has to do with the one who really has their head in the sand, because that's all about choice, about what they're willing to see, what they're willing to accept, what they're willing to learn and to experience. But pardon me, the reconciliation feels like it happens in not addressing the elephant in the room right away, and focusing on the balance that is currently existing within that one relationship. We're going to go to the messages from your angels, and we're just going to ask, what does Leanne need to know about reconciliation with her kids? What messages are coming to the forefront for you? Oh, this is interesting. So the card that we have here is Daniel, and his message is that he is the angel of marriage. I am assisting you right now. So I know that this isn't. This is a question about children. It's not about marriage. If a relationship on your level with a partner, or one of your children with a partner, if that's part of the challenge, know that there is help and support that's happening within those relationship dynamics. But if that's not the case in this instance, this card is coming through to talk about repairing and healing on a relationship level. Partnership relationships, there isn't a specific children card, repairing card in this deck, and so I see this as being the best available option to represent that there is help and support that's happening on that relationship level, helping people to see perspectives beyond their own perspective and experience. And it feels like it's calling on a lot of growth, or calling for a lot of growth and a lot of healing, and a lot of acceptance of responsibility on many sides. I do have a lot of faith in that happening, but at the same time, also, it feels like it's going to take a bit of time. So just know that it will take time, and take it easy as you do ease back into those relationships. Leanne, it was a pleasure connecting with you. I am sending huge amounts of love, hugs, support, angel help and blessings your way, to you and to your family. May everybody find peace. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. What do we have here? Shannon, I think that we've connected with you already and we've answered your questions. So I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm just going to pop down to Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining us. Nancy's asking, do you see a move in location, selling my house this fall or in 2023? If so, where? Okay. Pardon me. So Nancy, yes, I do see a move that's coming up for you. I'm leaning more towards 2023. It feels like there is some aspect of where you are where it makes sense to stay a little bit longer. Sometimes properties are really better to sell in one season or another, and it feels, or you're wanting to enjoy a specific season in your home again. It doesn't feel like the time to sell is just yet, but it is coming. And as we move into the mid spring of 2023, I'm seeing March. It feels like there's an opening that starts to happen, and I've got this feeling of yes, this is the right time. We're feeling really grounded in the choice that we're making. There's a sense of excitement that is coming up. It feels like there might be a little bit of travel. So I'm not sure if part of the move behind the move is to be able to make some travel choices where there's possibly a little freedom and flexibility. Or it could be that there's a bit of travel involved with where you're going to be moving, but it doesn't feel like it's in the area that you're currently in. And in fact, the way that I'm seeing this, I'm seeing little flashes of lots of different places. So I am really wondering if you're taking opportunity to maybe do a bit of travel that's maybe being on the back burner for a while. So potentially I don't know if there's maybe a slightly smaller down payment for the purchase of the next home. But it feels like you're taking the opportunity to be unfettered for a little while, and doing a bit of exploring. And then from there, where the heck are you going? I don't have a really clear view of where you're going, where you're ending up. But the weather feels kind of dry. It does feel like it gets fairly warm. It feels like it gets fairly cool. But it feels dry. And that's all. I wish that I could give you more than that. I'm wondering if you might be in a slightly desert-like area, just with the amount of dryness that I'm seeing. Like there is water around, but it doesn't feel humid. It doesn't feel damp. Like when you have a cold or when you have a heat, they feel dry. And so that actually feels a little more comfortable, and it feels like it's like the sun feels really good. Let's take a look, Nancy, and just ask what messages are coming up for you around a move. Oh, nurture. Interesting. So the card that we have here, this is Archangel Gabrielle, and her message is, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. And that kind of makes me wonder if family is part of the consideration that you have with the move that you're making, either for your current family or possibly new family that is coming into your family. But children were certainly popping up, and I had a lot of visiting that was coming through as well. So I'm really wanting to encourage you, once you do make the choice to move, to see if there's the opportunity for a bit of travel, or to possibly put other priorities first that have maybe been on the back burner, because it's feeling like it is really important to either have like some downtime, some travel time, some experience time, either bonding more as family or taking space from family. But family is definitely coming up as a consideration. Nancy, it was such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of moving energy too. Awesome. Hi, Eileen. Eileen, it's been so long since I've seen you. Thanks for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry. So Eileen says, I just lost a very dear friend last night. I am so incredibly sorry to hear that. She was ill for a short time, but I just want to make sure her journey was peaceful. Yeah, let me just see. We don't normally do mediumship on the show, but I mean, we've had a lot of people coming in tonight. So let's just see what we have coming up. Um, so I am noticing feeling a little breathy, and I can't tell if this is in lungs or if this is in my chest, but I am feeling like a little like breathy or gaspy. And I don't know if this was part of her experience towards the end of her time physically while she was here. But she just has such a really beautiful, loving, and peaceful energy. She is coming to me all bathed in white. Sorry, bathed is the wrong word. Clothed, clothed in white. Like I've got like a white um, turban isn't the right word, but like a head scarf, and then I've got like a white flowy cloaky gown, and she's showing me, pardon me, being able to breathe. When she first came through, as I said, there was like this breathiness, like I was having a hard time breathing. But now where she is, there she's able to breathe. She is floating, she is flowy. She has definitely crossed over, but she is showing me that she's still here connecting with her loved ones. Um, it's like wedding favors. You know how often at weddings they have the little wrap up of like the little candy things? But she's showing me. It's almost like it's like a little wedding favor that she is dropping for her loved ones and connecting. So she's still energetically, she's crossed over, but she's still close enough to be able to let everybody know that she is okay. Her energy is still very physically present, even though she's no longer physically here. She's got to have, actually, I'm seeing 3 people that she is piggybacking on the other side. So in my conversations with Bobby of Born Medium, who is a born medium, one of the things that she has said is that right after people pass and after they've crossed over, the reason that we're able to feel them so clearly and so strongly is because they're piggybacking their energy on loved ones on the other side. So there are, grandparents or parents or other loved ones who have been there for a while, who've built up the energy that are able to help them bring their energy down low enough so that we're able to continue to perceive them. And your friend is showing me that she has a lot of people that she needs to let know that she is okay, who are still physically here, before she can completely go over to rest, to recoup, to balance. So don't be surprised if you feel her more strongly over the next week or maybe even 2 weeks. And then maybe there's a little while that you're not feeling her as much or as easily, and possibly not at all. It's not that she is gone or that she's not okay. It's just that now she's starting to build up her energy on the other side so that she's going to be able to come down and connect with you on her own without needing that help and support. So do know that she has crossed over. She is at peace. She is breathing really well. As I said, she's all clothed and dressed in white, and she's giving so much love. She's leaving wedding favors, party favors. If there is somebody significant in her life who has recently gotten married or who is going to become married, I think these wedding favors might in part be for them to know that she will be there and that she will be around, because that's feeling really important. And she's showing me these party favors, these wedding favors several times now. So please, if you can pass that message along for her loved ones to know that she will definitely be there and is there. Let's just see if we have a message for you, Eileen. We'll just check in with the cards. We've got the Archangel Oracle card deck. And the card that we have here is chakra clearing. This is Archangel Metatron, and his message is: call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. I'm not sure if this was something that was of significance or meaningful for your friend, if she was somebody who did that, but it feels to me like this is for you, to go through and clear your chakras so that you're able to better perceive her in the future as time passes, because it feels like this was a good friendship, and she's really wanting you to know that she's still around, that even though she's not physically here, that the connection hasn't been severed. It's just shifted and transformed. Eileen, my heart goes out to you. I'm so incredibly grateful that you popped on this evening. Thank you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you and to your friend who's crossed over and all who love her. Awesome. Awesome. And I just see Nikki here. I'm really behind in the readings tonight. Nikki says yes, that somebody did message her and you just deleted them. I am so sorry about that. I'm not going to delete the comments tonight. I'm not exactly sure how you'll let me know. I'll put a comment in the top of the comments where you can just like it if somebody gets in touch with you. I think that's what we'll do. But I'm so sorry that happened, Nikki. Let me see. Okay, we've got Kristen here. Hi, Kristen. Thanks for joining us. Kristen says, "What do you see with work?" Okay, let's take a look. I'm kind of wanting, pardon me, I'm kind of wanting to encourage you to take a bit of a break with work. It feels like you've been putting a lot of energy into work, and I'm feeling like I'm kind of in overdrive right now. It feels like you have put, as I said, a lot of energy in. You need to step back a little bit. Take a bit of a break for yourself, for your own mental health and well-being. But you've been putting a lot in, and it feels like this is helping you to see the broader perspective of the work experience that you're in. Because yeah, there's definitely some change that's coming up, and it feels like it's change that you are initiating. I don't know. It's interesting because it feels like you are working towards something in the circumstances and the situation that you're currently in right now. And that feels like that's a big part of the reason that you've had a lot of energy that you've put out to get things going, to get things happening. But I'm wanting to encourage you to take a little bit of a step back, because it feels like you've been working so hard on it that you've kind of got like the blinders on, and you're needing to take a little bit of space, a little bit of time back from that in order to see the full situation. And I'm kind of seeing you saying, hey, like, I think actually I'm ready for a change. I've put all of this work in, all of this energy in. It's not coming back the way that I need it to. I'm definitely needing a break, and I think I'm open to something else and something that's new. I do see your current work situation. It feels like it opens up to say, hey, like, yeah, we can start helping you and supporting you in this, but it's not something that is going to be volunteered on its own. It's not until you start making movement towards change that comes in. And what I'm hearing with that is too little too late, though you definitely have the opportunity to choose whether or not you do want to stay, because maybe for you what is being offered is enough. Maybe that's what you've been working towards, or it's really close to, with the promise of. But I've got a pretty big work change that feels like it's coming up for you in the next 3 or 4 months. It feels like it is on your terms, so you are the one who's making the change. It feels like you're going from where you are right now into something else. So I'm not seeing any sort of instability in that, but I do definitely want to encourage you to take some time off. So if you have any like vacation time accrued, or I don't know about like sick days or whatever, if you have the opportunity where you could take a couple of days off or more than that, please do, because it feels like it makes all the difference in the world for you. And it really helps to bring a new perspective for you too, in terms of where you are and what you're wanting. We're just going to ask Kristen, what does Kristen need to know about her work situation right now? And we've gone to the magical mermaids and dolphins, and I love this. We've got the ready, set, go card. Now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. When this card comes up, it's saying that everything is coming up to the surface in order for you to start making shifts and changes, and things are happening. They are coming together. So even more so, it's important to have a bit of a rest, a bit of a break, to make sure that you have the energy and the resources you need for the shifts and the changes that are coming up. Overall, it's feeling positive, but it does feel like there are a couple of little bumps that you're going through along the way. But just have faith that a new opportunity that's even better than what you're currently in and experiencing is available to you, and that you taking time off for yourself is part of what helps to invite that in. Kristen, it was such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. All right, we've got Brianne here. Hi, Brianne. Thanks for joining us. Brianne's asking, what does my family life look like over the next little while? Okay, so when I ask, I kind of see like an accordion. So the accordion presses in and it goes out and it presses in and it goes out. And it feels like that's kind of what family looks like. I'm seeing people coming in and then people going out and then people coming in and people going out. So it feels like there is a fair amount of fluctuation that is happening. I'm seeing this coming up as a lot of physical energy, like people coming in and then people physically leaving. But this could also be on like a mental and emotional level as well, where people are perhaps physically present, but their minds are elsewhere, or they're needing to focus on something else. So it does feel like there's a lot of in and out that's happening. As we start to move into October, things feel like they're kind of starting to come into like a new balance, a new rhythm, a new routine, or into routine, and things feel like they are balancing out. It feels like there's a bit of a whirlwind that's happening. So I don't know if you're expecting a lot of visitors, but like, that's almost what this feels like. Um, and then I feel peace. It's kind of like there've been lots of people, lots of changes, lots of things that have been happening, lots of things that are going on. And then as we move into like September, October, I'm feeling you finding peace again and routine again. And it feels like everything calms down and settles down. And you're almost like, this seems a little too quiet. um, but I see you really enjoying it. So yeah, Brianne, family feels kind of chaotic for the next couple of months, but it feels like there is support as you move through it. And I'm seeing that you can lean on the people around you as well. So not only family, but I've got friends who are coming up too, who are like, hey, we're happy to help you. We're happy to support you. Things seem like they've been kind of crazy in your world. Can we make you some dinner? Or yeah, so there's lots of support that's coming up through people who love you, who are the family that we choose. We're going to the messages from your angels, and we're just going to ask, what does Brianne need to know about family over the next little while? I keep hearing peace. Find the peace. And so the card that we have here is the Rosetta card, and it is one of the family cards that we have in the deck. You have a gift for working with young people, and your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. I'm hearing that this may also extend to adults as well. So it feels like you will likely be in a place where you are supporting people over the next little while, and I'm not exactly sure if that's just like in the capacity as like a host, or if there are other ways that you are supporting people. But I'm feeling a need to call on patience, to call on compassion, and to offer yourself compassion, recognizing that you can only do so much, and you're doing the best that you can with the resources that you have, and that sometimes that's good enough. I'm hearing the idea that anything that is worth doing poorly. And when we see something that is worth doing, usually we think if it's worth doing well. And although that is certainly true, sometimes we come to a point where we have a whole pile of things that are really worth doing, but you can't do all of them if you do them well. And sometimes it is better to get parts of all of them done rather only getting this part done. So remember that to do the best that you can with the resources you have, and to ask for help too. But I see you enjoying a lot of parts of this as well. Brianne, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. Let me see. Nikki, I can't remember. Oh yes, that's why I recognized your name. Okay. Um Nikki is asking, will I have to move to Alberta, or do you see me buying a house next year? Yeah, I see you buying a house next year. And April is the month that is coming up really strongly for me. So April of 2023. When I ask about how that's coming together, either it is in April that you're like, yep, this is going to work out. I have what I need to do it. And then you start looking for or finding the place and everything starts to settle in. Or April is when you're actually buying the home. But I'm not seeing you needing to move to Alberta if that's not where you want to be. It feels like there could be some opportunities for you there. But I've got a lot of pull that feels like it's really holding you strongly here. Or I'm assuming that you're in BC. But I'm feeling you. There are a lot of things that are holding you where you are. When I ask about where you're going to be, it feels like you might be looking for a home slightly outside of perhaps where you're looking right now. So for example, if you were looking specifically in a city, maybe you're needing to look slightly outside of that. It feels like you're needing to just extend the boundaries or the perimeters that you're looking for a home in the area that you're in, and that's where that shift really starts to come true for you. But yes, I do see a home, and it feels like it's being purchased where you are. And the other aspect that's coming up is that is starting in April. So either you find a place in April, or you have found a way for it to work, staying basically where you are. All right, we're just asking, what does Nikki need to know? And the card that we have here is stay optimistic. Your dreams are coming true. Don't quit right before the miracle occurs. And so I don't know how well you guys can see this. As I said, my lighting's really poor, unfortunately. But basically in the background here, we've got a great big huge castle. We've got a mermaid in the foreground, and she's looking longingly at the castle. And there's also this path, and along this path there is a horseback, a person, I believe a man on horseback, riding on the path towards her. And so, even though it looks like not only is the horseback rider and the castle way, way, way off in the distance, she is still feeling optimistic. And there's actually here in the background as well, over here, we've got whales jumping in a very joyful and gleeful manner. So to know that there is magic surrounding the situation that you're in, that it's really important to stay optimistic, even if it looks like what you're wanting to see, what you're wanting to create is way off in the distance, because there is still a possibility for it. So please keep moving forward. I don't think I would have even thought to pick that card for you, Nikki, but it feels like there couldn't possibly have been a better one to be chosen for you. So know that you are on the right path, and that there are options that are going to become available to you in the next 8-ish months. I think that's kind of 9-ish months. It's not going to be that long, but it is going to come together. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I've got Kate here. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining us. Kate's asking, will I meet a new romantic partner soon? Let's take a look. Yes, but this doesn't feel like it's a long-term relationship. And when people ask me about romantic partner, I always assume, or I always think that they're asking about like lifetime romantic partner, soulmate relationship. And that's not always the case when people are asking about like love and romance and partner. And that's kind of how I'm wanting to approach this person that I see coming into your life, because what I'm seeing is that this is somebody who is really interesting, who brings value to your life, who, either brings some laughter or some fun or some adventure, or some really interesting conversation, or maybe a little bit of passion, or maybe a lot of passion. um, but I'm not seeing this being like a long-term forever person. But if you allow yourself to enjoy the experience of spending time with this person, it feels like there is something that's really worthwhile experiencing in it. And I really want to encourage you to look at that. When I ask about this person coming into your life, this person may be already in your life in some way. And either you've kind of written them off because you know that this is somebody that you're not interested in on a long-term level. But is this somebody new? I'm having a hard time telling. And this person's kind of flip-flopping where they are, which makes me wonder actually if there's more than one. So I do have somebody popping up in August, which is like really quick. We're almost already in the middle of July right now. Somebody in August, I mean, we're talking 2 to 6 weeks away. It's not that far. I'm feeling some really interesting conversation and some really interesting connection. And I'm feeling good laughs and good camaraderie. And it's all because of letting go of the idea that this needs to be like the romantic partner. Just enjoy this person and they'll enjoy you. And as long as you are both really clear about kind of where you are and what you're wanting, it feels like it's good for both of you. And it feels like it starts to open up some doors. And these types of messages will often come through when the person who is asking has been single for a while. And sometimes they've been single for a long time. And when I say single, I mean like they haven't been in anything in a relationship that's been really significant or meaningful for quite some time. And there are always, a lot of different reasons because we have different reasons. But yeah, this feels like this really starts to open the door. And as I said, it feels like there might be a couple, there might be 2 or 3. So I'm wondering if perhaps this is also indicating that there's a bit of dating that you're doing. I'm not exactly sure how you're meeting these people, but just given the fact that there are several of them, they're coming in a fairly quick manner. I don't think it's online dating. It could be. But I'm wondering if there's some sort of like not dating service, but there are a lot of groups that are geared towards the singles spending time together, doing things together with other singles. And I kind of wonder if it's something like that. And that, again, that would certainly make sense to like the experiences, to the laughter, the enjoyment, this sense that, you know, there's not a huge amount of expectation in it. Yeah. So I am seeing that there are actually people that are coming up and that this helps to open the door to spending time with more people and more romantic partners in the future. And it feels like this is a big part of the path to getting there. So don't go focused on, I'm looking for a partner. Go and say, hey, I'm interested in meeting some new, interesting people to have a good time with, whatever that looks like for you guys. And just enjoy yourself, enjoy new experiences, because that's part of what's going to help open you up to meeting somebody else. And I do see a romantic partner that is committed and all of those things that people often look for a little further down the road. But it starts with these first couple of really fun interactions. Let's see. We'll quickly pull a card for you, Kate. I'm just going to ask, what are the messages coming up for Kate around a new partner, a new relationship? Interesting. So the card that we have here, this is Archangel Raguel, and his message is divine order. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. When this card comes up, it literally says that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You're doing the things that you need to be doing. If you're feeling a push to get out and try new things, and this reading, by the way, would be a push for that, start listening, start paying attention and giving it a try. And I'm also hearing that you're going to need to give it a try 3 times. So you can't go out the first time and say, oh, that was a real bust, I didn't like it, because it always takes a little bit of time to get things right. And go out, give it a try, give it a chance. Yeah, because that's how you're connecting with the next person. So Kate, don't give up, but more importantly, go and have fun while you're doing it, and just be open to meeting somebody new, meeting somebody interesting. I'm so incredibly glad that you joined us this evening, Kate. Thank you so much. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and romance angels your way. Oh, and Archangel Ariel as well. I haven't seen her in this way, but she's showing me that she does have your back, and she's going to help you to get out to try these new things too. Let me see. Okay, so I've got one more here. We've got Carrie. Carrie, thanks so much for waiting. What can I do to help my daughter in her spiritual journey? Um, I know Carrie. She is a huge crystal person. She has an amazing crystal shop as well, and I have to laugh because that's the message that's coming up, is that she needs crystals in her life, which is funny because I can only imagine how many crystals she has. But there is something about her connecting with the energies that is coming through, and I'm kind of wanting to encourage her to. Um, Start playing and experimenting and experiencing new and different things. She feels like she's coming into a point and into a place where she is ready to start exploring like her gifts, her talents, her intuition, her spirituality. I'm wanting to talk about psychic ability as well, because I'm seeing that really coming to the forefront for her as well. And in terms of that, it feels like, the world is her oyster. What does she want to do? Does she want to talk to deceased loved ones? Does she want to do readings? Does she want to do energy healing? Does she want to do counseling? Like, what is it that you want to do? You can do anything that you want to do. And so, in terms of helping her and supporting her on her journey, help her find safe ways to explore the things that are coming up for her right now, because it feels like there are a lot of options. And this kind of reminds me of doing the dry grad events. So before we had COVID for about, I think it was about 7 years, 8 years, I would go to the dry grad events for the local high schools, and I would do readings for the grads. And I'd spend like 5 hours doing readings for all of these soon to be adults. And one of the biggest things, first of all, I do have to say that the programs in our high schools seem to be really great, because the majority of kids who sat down for a reading, they had a really strong idea about what they wanted to do. If they were, going to go to school, or if they were going to take gap year, or if they were going to work or whatever, they had a pretty strong idea, which is certainly more than I could say for what I had when I was leaving high school. But one of the things that can be really challenging for kids these days is all of the options. Like, you would think that having lots of options would be something that really opens up opportunities, but actually you can have too many options to the point where you don't know which way to go and which direction to look at, and you start to close down. And that's what I'm seeing coming up for you, Carrie, in terms of helping your daughter, is saying, okay, well, there are lots of things that you're really good at that you want to experience. What should we explore first? What can we set up for you so that there's a safe way for you to look into this to see if you're wanting to find out more? Um, I've got I've also got art coming up really strongly. So creativity, it feels like that might be one of the methods that she uses, either for relaxation or meditation or connecting with God, source, universe, divine, whoever, whatever she connects with and resonates with. It feels like that's one of her pathways and conduits. But there's a huge amount of compassion. There's a huge amount of intuition and psychic ability that's there. And it feels like, one of the best things that you can do for her to help and support her is to help find opportunities for her to explore and to experience these things in safe ways. And Carrie, I actually, one of the things I've wanted to do for a long time that I haven't done is to actually work with teenagers, because it's such an amazing time. So I will be sure to let you know when I get that up and running, because it feels like that could be one of the safe ways for her to learn and to experience and explore. But I do know that there are also other people who are doing the same thing as well. So take a look and put it out there. And yeah, drop me a line too, and let's see if we can come up with something a little more concrete for you. Okay, we're going to go to the angels, the Archangel Oracle card deck. We're just going to ask, what does Carrie need to know to support her daughter in her spiritual journey? All right, passion. So we've got Archangel Haniel, and her message is passion. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Archangel Haniel is actually probably one of the perfect archangels to come up. Pardon me, Archangel Haniel is the angel who is most closely connected with the moon. So tomorrow night is the full moon. Archangel Haniel will definitely be out in force. She has a very quiet energy. She's very subtle, and it took me a long time to really connect with her. But once you connect, you really connect, and there is no mistaking her presence around you. She loves working with women, and I actually get a lot of Mother Mary energy that comes up with her. In fact, the color that I most associate with Archangel Haniel is this light blue that I have under my name and in the banner and on my website. So she has a very light blue, almost white, pale white color. She helps us with intuition, particularly women. She helps and supports women at all stages in their lives. So, as a teenager, your daughter would certainly be in a place or coming out of a place with lots of hormonal fluctuations and adjustments. Archangel Haniel, she is your one for that. Pregnancy, becoming pregnant, the loss of a child, moving into like perimenopause and menopause, all of the things that we go through as women. That's where Archangel Haniel, she's really there loving and supporting us. She helps us to see the beauty in things that might be challenging as well. So if your daughter is drawn at all to work with angels, I would encourage her to see about connecting with Archangel Haniel. Tomorrow night would be a great time to do it with the full moon, because her energy is really present. One of the things that she could do, or the two of you could do together, is find a place where you're able to experience the fullness of the moon. If you have crystals that you use or wear, it's really important to also clear the energies of the crystals that you wear. Take them out with you. Or if there are crystals that you want to use to connect with intuition or to connect with other experiences, be sure to bring those out to clear them, and then to set the intentions for how you're wanting to connect with them and to work with them. So tomorrow night's a really powerful time to connect with Archangel Haniel. Carrie, I'm so incredibly glad that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you and to your daughter as well. We have come to the end of tonight's Connection with Intention. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. If you'd like to connect for your own personal reading, I would encourage you to pop over to my website soon. All of this week is booked up. Most of next week is booked up. And the following week, I have family coming to visit for 3 weeks. So I will still be working while they're here, but at reduced hours. So if you're wanting to connect in the next month or so, now is definitely a great time to pop on and find an appointment for yourself. You can do that at bookingwitherin.com. Bobby and I will also be back on Sunday for what the heck do we do? Oracle chats. Sorry, I get all of the names caught in my head, and I was going to say Connection with Intention, but that's right now. So I hope that you'll join Bobby and I on Sunday. I'll be sure to post the links for it. We had an awesome and amazing chat this past Sunday with Mary Malinsky on the Oracle Chats. That replay is available on my YouTube and Facebook page and the Universal Connections page as well. Thank you again so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday and next Tuesday. See you soon.